What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Expand with Omar. And guess what we got today? We have our special guest, actually our first guest on our podcast, which is going to be awesome. I've known this gentleman for quite some time, and we always bullshit. We always talk about the real estate market. We talk about life. We talk about what our kids are doing, what's happening, and all this good stuff, all the shit that he talks as well. But it's really cool to bring on MIKE ARIAS. And before we do get into the podcast itself, this is where everybody shows up to learn more about real estate, more about life, more about everything in general that we're going to be discussing with our co-host JP, or with my co-host JP. We ask all kinds of questions about real estate, about what people really want to know, and what can we do to get better at our existing businesses. If you're a real estate entrepreneur, if you're a flipper, if you're a wholesaler, if you're an agent, if you're in title, if you're just listening on the way to work, you're going to get some valuable information. So let's get this party started. JP is in the house. What's up?
We got the Joe Rogan of the high desert in the house today.
Let's go.
That's how I like to describe Mike.
Yep.
He's probably,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Really, yeah. I mean, everyone knows you up here, not just for title, but
No,
for
Mike's
everything.
just a cool dude.
Yeah.
He parties.
I've been up here. I've been born and raised. I mean, I was born and raised up here, 1981, Apple Valley, man.
This is crazy. So let's get into who Mike is. Appreciate you guys all listening. And, yeah, we got a good show for you today. He's been in the title business for over 20 years. But you know what? I don't want to take that from him. I want him to explain what he's been doing and what kind of expertise he's in. So, Mike, take it away. Appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Good shit. Let's go.
The first person to
You're
to
leaving
come
me
on
hanging.
this thing. Yeah, sorry,
Let's
sorry,
go.
sorry.
I saw that. I was like,
Sorry.
Leaving me hanging.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I mean, 22 years in the business now in the title industry. Been doing this deal, but ever since about 2003, I flipped my first piece of property. I was seeing what the values were doing back then,
Yeah.
And agents were listing properties, the prices were rising fast, and my mom, and my dad, they've always been in building homes and stuff. So my dad, he was always a big fan of home equity lines of credit. That's how he got his machine rolling and building homes and stuff like that. So at the time I'm making minimum wage,
Yep.
Not making any money really, and the first property I see a property that comes up, and I'm thinking, man, this is way undervalued, right? An agent lists the property. I go pull out an equity line of credit. I didn't even tell my dad about it, but again, just watching him through the years, seeing him do it, I buy my first piece of property. I think it was $25,000. Put it on the market, sell it for $65,000, and it closes in 30 days. And I made
35, 40 grand.
my whole year, the whole year of my income
On a flip.
in in the first deal. And
That's
I was,
badass.
I think 23 years old or whatnot. So ever since then, I've done about over 150 transactions in my career personally. Built houses, flipped dirt. Investment properties as far as, rehabs, rentals, stuff like that. I've had some rentals in the days or whatnot. I'm sure we're going to talk more about all that stuff. But, I like it. I like the title business. I watch the real estate market. We see what the heck's going on.
Right.
We see how it's moving. It's crazy.
Okay, that's what I want to know. What about the title business do you like? Because I think it just sounds boring.
It is.
It's boring
super
as
boring.
fuck.
And you've been doing it for 22 years.
It's-
so.
But he's
I
a staple, though.
That's
He's a
what I'm
staple.
thinking. That's
It's
what I'm
like,
saying.
that's what
So
it is.
there has to be something about title that's kept you in it for 22 years. What
Yeah,
is that?
so for me, it took me a little while to get to figure it out. When I first started, you're walking around with these other title representatives, and we don't have to talk about what title is or anything like that. But, they're walking around and asking agents, do you guys need a property profile, which is, do you want to know what, square footage, bedrooms and bath, who the ownership is and stuff like that, which is all good and important stuff, but there's no value to that. They're not bringing any value to the real estate community, So my deal, and like I said, it took me a little while to figure out, but nobody was really watching what the real estate market was doing, which was interesting because everybody wants to know what the real estate market's doing.
Yeah.
If you're a homeowner or a renter, no matter what, you want to know what the market's doing.
Or they talk about it like they know what it's doing.
Everybody thinks they know about it, right? The neighbors know everything there is to know
Your
about
Thea and your Theos.
Yes.
Everybody knows about the real
Everybody.
estate market.
So I'm like, okay, well, shoot, somebody needs to, figure this whole thing out. So I started tracking data, the foreclosure market data. We started looking at the actives, the pendings, the solds, and we could start seeing the trends of what was really happening with the real estate market. So as I start bringing this stuff forward, as the market corrects itself in 2007, 2008, people really start gravitating toward this stuff. They really start looking forward to it. They want to know what's happening with the real estate market. And then obviously, as the whole market starts to recover and then the pandemic hits, Then I started doing this report, a weekly report.
Weekly.
And everybody's like, especially you.
Dude,
Omar,
I hit
Monday
you up
morning,
all the time.
What's going on?
What's up?
What's going on? And we could see this thing moving. A lot of times people, the market will change, and months down the road, they're like, hey, the market's doing better, right? It's like we could see that happening now if you have the data.
Seriously. Every couple
And
weeks,
that's the
man,
idea.
something changes.
And data just keeps getting better as like time goes on.
It's the new oil, man. Everybody wants to know about the data. What is happening with the real estate market especially, right?
100%. Data is the number one commodity over oil, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big.
You mentioned you made how much on your first like investment?
It was like
flip?
$35,000.
Would you say that was like a year? That was probably like a year's salary,
That was
right?
for
what
sure.
you're
Yeah, back in the
currently
day,
doing?
yeah, that was a year, over a year's salary.
So I think I went through something similar to that because I quit Toyota's sales job, where I was making probably like 40 to 50 grand a year there, and then I jumped into the real estate business. 4 months in, I think it was the month of March, I made a total of like 29 grand in 1
I
month.
remember that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a huge mental shift for me where I just started to look at everything differently. So how would you say that changed like the way you started to look at things, the way you started to handle your time? Because in 1 month one deal, you made what you would work a whole year for.
Right. And that's what I always get back to is that's the biggest mistake I see in the real estate industry from real estate agents is they never get involved in deals. It's the most mind-boggling thing.
He talks about this all the time.
All the damn time.
They will make their investors hundreds of thousands, if not
millions of dollars,
and
bro.
never get involved in a deal. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. But yet, they want to advise
Other
buyers
clients,
and sellers.
Yeah, fucking A. You're right. Straight up.
on investing in real estate when they don't even buy anything. It's
Right.
like, how? How can you do that if you've never been involved in a transaction? And I believe that's what sets me apart especially is because I'm involved in the transaction.
100%.
All the time. I
Yeah.
am the buyer. I am the seller. I am the owner. I know what they're going through. I know what the agent's going through, and I know what the buyer and seller's going through. And that's why I tell people all the time. Unless you've sold your own primary residence as a homeowner, you don't know the emotional roller coaster you're going to go on.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
And it was funniest thing. A top producing agent up here. She's up here, and she was thinking she was going to move out of state and still do business out here. And she's every other day she's up and down. She's thinking, I'm going to sell. I'm not selling. I'm selling.
I'm sure I know.
I'm not selling. And I said, listen. I said, this is exactly what sellers go through. The emotional roller coaster. So when we talk about farming and marketing and trying to find the next seller, all we're trying to do is hit these people when they're hot, because they go hot and cold for months.
Should I go hot and cold all the fucking time?
Yeah, hit them when
Especially
they're-
all the flips. No, I want to get more money.
Yeah.
I want to get this. But then you're like, hey, I got to like step back a little bit, remove yourself from that emotion because you go through it too.
Oh, for
When
sure.
I was representing you on some of the flips that you gave me in the very beginning, hey, I bought this thing for this, and it's like, all right, take the deal. It's awesome. No, I can squeeze out another $2,000-$3,000 bucks.
right. Yeah, right.
That's how we are.
You want to hit them when you're hot, motivated sellers, but also just make sure that you're constantly staying in front of them. And I think that's something that you do really well as far as just constantly staying in front of all agents with the data that you put out.
The
Yeah.
data, bro. And no agent's gonna do this. What Mike's doing? Hell no.
It took me a while, and it took hours to put this data together, And if you're not following the Mike and Bobby Show on Instagram,
You have to
Facebook,
follow.
and YouTube, I mean, it's
Mike and Bobby
And the
Show.
thing is, we have 113,000 homes up here, and we have almost 500,000 people up here in the Victor Valley. So sampling or marketing,
500,000?
Yeah, 450 or something
All right.
like that,
That's cool,
470,000 people or whatnot. So we're not talking about a little tiny area in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about a market that actually happens before the other markets do, in
then
both directions,
last.
ups and downs.
Yeah.
So the market, watching this market, is a really good indicator of Southern California in general.
Yep.
Because we usually rise and fall.
So, and this is what good point you said that too right now, Mike, because this is funny. We're always the last to see the market change, and we're the first one to see it, like affecting us, because it's, we're a lot lower in price point. Our median home price is $380,000, $400K.
Yeah.
You'll know that, I'm sure.
$390,000.
See, I wasn't
Who's
far off.
counting? Who's
Yeah, but we always see it change first. If there's a pulse or something that's happening, boom, we're gonna get hit first. Okay, but then if down the hill you start seeing that appreciation, we're the last one to hit it. So it's like we always kind of see what we're going to be doing here in the next 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. So that's a good thing about the data that you do provide. And shit, man. I mean, I've been watching. You've been watching. Like we've been discussing stuff all the time, just about life in general, real estate mainly. Because hey, what's the market doing? That's literally all I ask Mike. What's the market doing? And sometimes I get pissed off. Hey, dude, send me the damn graph. Send me the graph.
I do the data, and I don't push it out because I got to do a video and stuff like that. But then sometimes, I shoot it out to Omar before.
I haven't sent it out to nobody. But
Eyes only type of stuff. You know what I mean? But here's what's crazy. I mean, let's talk about the real estate market real fast. Is that this real estate market's heating back up, man. This is the craziest thing. We're coming off the most epic real estate market we've ever seen, right?
Ever seen. I've never seen it.
And it was the greatest real estate market because we had the lowest interest rates.
3%.
So the buyer was getting a hell of a deal, and the seller was getting all this equity. It was the perfect storm.
For sellers.
For
and
sellers
for
and for
too.
buyers. Everybody had a great time, right? Interest rate goes up. Everybody backs off. All of a sudden, the interest rate drops, about 1% in the last 4 or 5 months. And inventory keeps dwindling. So that's what's happening right now. We have this inventory dropping like crazy.
We're at 1,000 homes?
We went to 1,700 homes 4 months ago. Now we're down to 1,000 homes. We dropped 700 homes. And it's not because we're selling more homes. It's because people are pulling their homes off the market because they can't get the equity they thought they were, right?
Right.
They're going, their house is on the market. They thought they were going to get the $200,000 of equity. They went from the first price reduction, the second price reduction, still didn't sell. They're going, now we're probably going to net 120. We got a 2.5% interest rate. We're staying. We're going to take it off the market.
And
we're not leaving.
And that's a really good point you made because so many people have the perception that inventory is dropping because everyone's selling. Let me throw my house on the market. Right. Not realizing that inventory is probably dropping because it's just not selling.
It's not selling. People pulling the homes off the market, but the homes that are priced correctly. And I try to stress this all the time. They got to be priced correctly.
Not even priced correctly. They have to be priced better than the competition.
They got to be competitive priced, and they're moving. Multiple offers. Had an agent put a house on the market on Friday. 6 offers. Put an escrow today. That person's buying another home over here. I mean, it's happening all over again. And here's what Barry Habib says, and some of the other forecasters, economists are saying the same thing. When the housing data comes out in May, and it lines up with the inflation data, slowing the market down, slowing the housing market down when the data comes out, they believe these interest rates are going to drop. And this market's already heating up. They're going to throw gas on this thing in May, and this thing could go crazy again.
They're going to drop it to 4%.
It could go in the 4s.
Imagine that shit.
I could see rates in the 4s again, but we're not going to see 2, 3.
Man, I
3
don't.
maybe.
With a buy down?
2?
With a buy down? Fuck yeah, maybe.
It might be in the 3s.
No, but if it does hit 4, this is literally the perfect storm.
Perfect storm. This thing could go crazy all over again. And the thing is we only dropped 8% up here so far, which is nothing.
And it'll be cool because, the market getting tough for a little bit will strain out all the people that don't belong in the business.
That didn't renew in January.
Wait, repeat that again?
250 agents, it appears, that dropped out just up here locally in the Victor Valley that didn't renew their license.
250. Wow.
250.
Whoa.
Which is,
How many agents total?
Sorry.
There was 14 and change, 1450. Now there's like 1,200.
It's funny you mentioned that because I have a buddy on my team that I took under my wing, and we were driving to an appointment yesterday, and he was talking because he works another job, and he was talking about how one of his coworkers, she got her license about a year ago, and she was telling him hey, I've been wanting to, start real estate more. I see that you're here and on your days off, you're working at the office, you're making your calls. I just feel so lost on what to do. And I called my brokerage and I asked them, how can I start my business? And they told me to print flyers and go knock on some doors.
Yeah, it's funny. Funny, man.
Damn.
And that when he told me that, I was like, wow. And then I looked at him and I was like, hey, man, you got it pretty good,
So that's what I talk about. I just did a video about this whole deal of, agents trying to figure out this whole market. And like I said, we deal with the top producers in the Valley, right? We've dealt with them for years. We see how they do their business. We know how they do their business, and there's no secret to it.
Consistency.
If they don't have a database, and on average, it takes 14 months for a buyer or seller to transact.
14
months. If you cannot keep in touch with that person for 14 months because you don't have a database, don't even start the business. That's what I try to tell these people. I said, listen, save yourself money, save me time, and just jump out now. Because if
you're off the ship.
If you're not going to get a database dialed in and going because you cannot keep in contact with these people, just get out of it.
It boggles my mind for someone that has a database, and this is the crazy thing that I want everybody to listen to this. you don't have to be that good at your database at all. It's just because your competition just sucks.
Right.
So if you're 5% better, 3% better than your competition, you will completely just smash them. Why? Because nobody takes their database seriously. Yeah. And myself, I get deals all the time. People that, hey, somebody wants to sell their house. Great. Somebody wants you to buy their house. Okay, great.
Because you've made it clear that everyone that you help buy and sell, that they're never going to forget you.
No, they never will.
That's how you built your business model.
But I'm not even that good. Think about this. You're not even that good, but if you do move that needle forward with database, I know agents that have been doing this business for 10, 15 years with no database. 15 years of transactions. You know these people. If I mention some names, you will know and you'll say, you're right. Yeah. And you know the top producers, and they produce, but they have no database.
Right.
Or houses. But that's, we're going to get into that later too. So
right.
it's crazy, the database.
It's just these databases, man. It's like, it's so key and it's so easy. It's not even like, we're not doing brain surgery here. We're just, everybody we come in contact with has to go in a database. We have to nurture them. We have to incubate them.
Yeah.
Because eventually they're going to buy or sell. But on average, it takes 14 months. And if we don't have a database and we cannot keep in contact with these people, how are we going to turn these people over in 14
I'll share a cheat code. It's called TMPCO marketing. You pay how much per client?
Bleep. Just kidding.
No, let's share it. You pay like
just
20,
share.
You pay $25 per client,
which is a lot.
You input into, which is not bad at all. I mean,
if you have 1,000 people,
but you have, like, let's just imagine that you're inputting them as you're closing your deals. For someone like me, I can afford to put in all my closed transactions and continue to input them as time goes on. $25 for one client for the next 5 years, and they get a letter every single holiday or every single special occasion.
Top of mind awareness, for sure.
Top of mind awareness, constantly in front of them. It's like a cool little postcard. And you even also get one in the mail yourself, so you know what your clients are getting. It's
dope.
called TMPCO marketing. Mm-hmm. You should probably look into it too. But it's as simple as, I think, just making a little bit of an investment. An agent is quick to make a $10,000 commission check, but how much of that $10,000 do they want to invest back into their business?
You know what? Big point right there, because I'm sure too, Mike, that people, get the deal done and they never hear from the agent again.
Yeah. No.
The client never hears from the agent again.
It's crazy. I even try to take the extra step and, like, let's just say I sell a listing that a buyer moves into. I didn't help that buyer because I helped the seller on the listing side.
That's the cheat code there.
Yeah. I input that address into my database with the new buyer's name.
100%.
Yeah,
because I'm the agent that sold that house to.
We'll never reach out.
The buyer's agent's never going to reach out. The other agent on the other side. What's crazy, I had this scenario happen to me in Lake Havasu. I didn't know anybody out there. I go on Zillow, you look, for the listing and find the house. It looks, looks good. Contact the listing agent. She has a big team out there. Her, I can't remember what her name is, but the company was a Keller Williams out there in Lake Havasu. Anyways, she had a big team. She's, I think, the number one agent out there. Anyways, she had her buyer's agent contact me, which that's the way the whole program should work. So she contacts me, shows me the home, we buy the home. 2 years later, the house jumps $100,000. Daughter's going to club volleyball. We can't make it out there. I'm going, you know what?
Sell it.
I ain't renting this thing because I don't like rentals. And I sell that. We sell that thing. But here's the thing. I end up, in the 2 years I own that thing, the agent that represented me as a buyer and the agent that had the team never sent me one thing. They never called me. They never sent me a 75-cent postcard. They didn't send me nothing.
Dude, all it takes is one call.
Are you serious? Like,
So
not one time?
I'm thinking, listen, I already paid you one time.
I'm not paying you again.
I ain't paying you again.
For a letter would have changed that.
One thing. I mean, something. A
phone
phone
call.
Swing by once in a while. Something.
Hey, Mike,
But
it's been 6 months. How you been?
Everybody's in that same boat. Not everybody. 95% of agents out there
Are in that same boat. And that 5% that actually touch, and even in that 5%, they're not even that good at the database, like, follow-up.
Right.
You don't have to be.
Right.
Because the competition there isn't much.
There isn't much.
You weren't that good when you closed the deal. So it's just like
burned. Yeah, exactly.
It's just true though. Like, it's like it's not gonna change later on. So
and that's what I try. That's one of the stories I try to tell these realtors out there is just like, listen, this is a perfect example. If you're not gonna follow up with them, because everybody's looking for the hot deal, they don't think about, hey,
want it now.
This person just bought 2 years, 3 years, that's forever. I don't need to talk to them again.
Uh-huh.
That 2 years comes up like tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And they sell without you, and I see it happen all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, it happens. Literally, it happens. And it's like every time I see that, I follow up, and it's like, are you serious? This person just sold? Wait. I go back. I'm like, I sent you like 10 letters.
And we're seeing people sell in 6, 8, 12 months.
When they see that their client's house listed on the market, they'll act like they never helped that client in the first place, and they try to just like forget about it.
Right.
It happens to all the top producers too, Mike.
For sure.
It does.
They're not going to get every one of them, but if
No.
you have a database, you have the ability to get the majority of them.
Yeah, I mean, just like yesterday. I get a call, actually a text message and a Facebook message. Hey, you helped this person. Can you help us sell? They just bought a house in 2022. 2022.
Yep.
Took the, we're taking the listing, and then we're going to help them buy another $500,000-$600,000 house in Apple Valley. It's a $1.2 million swing.
Yeah.
Did I ever call this person? No. They reached out to me because of the 5-star reviews, because of the previous clients. But guess what? How many times do you feel, or how many times agents have that in their email that, hey, we were referred to you, and they're too busy because they're dealing with the hot deal, and they don't call them back. Yeah. Then guess what? That person ends up going somewhere else. This person was represented by somebody else to buy this house 9 months ago. Yeah. Why didn't they go back to that person? Well, because they didn't send one thing to them either, which is crazy because I was asking the question yesterday. It was a 45-minute phone call. Yeah. So it happens at every level of the game, but this is why it's important. Like, damn, I got to do better. When you're telling me this, and immediately I go into like, all right, all of my people need more from me yesterday.
Yeah, perfect example. We helped one of our 60-minute cash offer clients sell their property in June of last year. Mm-hmm. She moved to, I think, Maryland. And I send her...
Say that again? Maryland? That's Maryland, bro. Maryland.
That's... Okay, guys.
So hey, this is... We're real here.
That's the culture in me talking.
I love it.
My family's from India.
Maryland.
Anyways, whatever they said.
Carry on.
Let's go.
You know, I can't wait till he rolls his tongue once. But anyways, what was I saying?
Maryland.
No, I wasn't saying...
Let's go.
I contact her probably I think since we've sold her house in June, I've made probably 2 phone calls to her.
Yeah.
That's just because there's a reminder in my database. And she texted me yesterday saying, hey, JP, hope you're well. It's been a blast here on the East Coast. I hope you're doing well. I have a friend that wants to sell her property.
Perfect.
Maybe you can help her just the way you helped me. And I was
Easy,
like,
done.
Yeah,
idea.
great. I texted her. She gave me the client's phone number. I called the client, and we actually have an appointment later on today to see how we're going to help her sell her house, whether it's a cash offer or a listing.
And that's the idea. You just don't know where that deal's going to come from.
Yeah,
but the more people we could cram into this database, and when that thing starts to turn over, we got 100, we got 1,000, we got 2,000 people in this database that are being nurtured. And this thing starts to turn over, I mean, you can't stop it. It's crazy because those 2,000, or let's just say 1,000 people, know how many thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Thousands.
It's like all your leads in your database just have a boiling point. And you just don't know when that boiling point is coming.
And they're gonna,
It's that big ass pot, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's keep throwing them in
That's
there. But
it.
yeah, like I said, it's an interesting deal. So like I said, just trying to bring value to the real estate community. Yeah. That's my goal. That's what drives me every day, right? Obviously, we don't do it for free, so we do make money on the title side of it too. But and we're I'm commission based just like realtors. So I try to tell them, hey, look, if you're using my stuff, and this is something I've been really pushing since the market kind of corrected itself, because I said, listen, if you're using my data, if you're using my tools, for God's sakes, put me on the contract. Don't use Joe Blow over here, title company, that brings a birthday calendar around every month. Give me the freaking deal if you're using my shit.
Give me the deal.
If you're using my stuff, give me the deal. Come on.
Hey, that's real, guys.
I mean, come
seriously.
on. I mean, it's so crazy because, people will be like, oh, yeah, of course. Who wouldn't do that? And you go look at their, and you're like, you wouldn't do that. Deal, but you're using all my stuff. You're posting all my stuff. You're using all my products that are helping you do transactions, helping you make money. And
They
you won't
probably
give me the
show
deal.
your graph to the seller at their appointment.
100%
Every
they
one of
do.
them. And that's why I tell them, if it's helping you with a transaction,
Just give me the title.
it's helping you with the price reduction, if it's helping you put somebody in escrow, give me the deal. Your other guy ain't doing shit for you. He's over there freaking sleeping till noon, over there playing tiddlywinks. I'm over here busting my ass.
Yeah.
Let me freaking have the deal, for God's sake.
That's awesome. Mike, I want to talk a little bit about.
Okay, tell him pissed off?
I bet
that
dude.
hit his nerve right there.
That's good
for
though.
sure.
No, we'll put Mike's info in like the description below, so he can do all the deals. Dude, I want to talk a little bit about your ranch in Apple Valley, because I think that's dope. You just got a bunch of land that you can go with your family, go fuck around, go do whatever you want.
That's a fun time, man. It's, you know what, my me and my dad, we've hunted these hills forever here locally. You know, we've always hunted them, and I've always like, man, I would love to have something up here in the hunting ground where we always hunt birds and deer and all that stuff. Yeah. So, you know, Stacy Hart, one of our local realtors up here, she says, hey, I'm getting ready to list this place. It used to be called Psycho Ranch. And it's funny because I've seen the place before, but everybody sees that sign and nobody wants to drive up that direction because nobody wants to hang a bunch of psychos, right? It's scary as hell. Sounds scary. So I never went there. Long story longer. She says, hey, I'm going to list this property. It was the beginning of the pandemic, March of 2020.
This is recent.
March of 2020?
March of 2020.
Yeah, this is not that long
My
ago.
buddy's dad built this place, started in 2009, sold it to his buddy in 2015. His buddy wants to put it on the market in 2020. Stacy says, hey, I don't know where this property, I know where it's at. I don't have a vehicle to get there, and I got to take Christian to go take pictures of it. I said, okay, perfect. I know exactly where it's at. Let's go. So we take him up there, whatever. And Stacy's posting this thing all over Instagram, or Facebook and Instagram, and Facebook. And again, pandemic just started, lockdown, everything.
After the 17th.
This thing's off the grid, totally off the grid, solar powered, battery backup. I mean, it's got everything. Lake, fish, it's everything. It has everything. Shooting range.
Dude.
It's got
beautiful.
It's got the pins for animals, everything. So she starts posting it. Her Facebook's blowing up, and Stacy's going, "Who the hell's gonna buy this place?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna buy this place out in the middle of nowhere." So by the time I took her back home, I said, "I'll buy it," and she's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, man, this is something I've always wanted." And I had another transaction closing, so I 1031 exchanged that.
Beautiful.
Into it. So that worked out pretty good. So anyways, buy this property. I got cattle up there. I got the lake up there. We got fish on it. I got a shooting range up there. And it's just something we just go to hang out. I have friends and family and clients come up and hang out. And we just, we hang out. I mean, it's just something to do. And for me, especially in the summertime, I'm up there at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, feeding the cows. And you got to have something, right? You got to find your zen. You got to find something that'll level you out. And for
really
me,
rad.
staring at these cows or feeding them, humping 100-pound bales of hay, that's what settles me for sure, man. And
That's
I love
dope.
it up there.
That's cool, man.
5,200 foot elevation. It's got, I think, got a little snow on it right now, but
That's something I call like a passion project.
for sure. People go, yeah, well, what do you do? I mean, I got probably $250,000 wrapped up in this thing already, and it doesn't make me any money, but it's just something that keeps me sane. You know what I mean?
No, that's great.
Keeps me leveled. So Carol Randall, she where the hell was I on this whole deal? She says, they're probably going to make you sign a non-disclosure or whatnot, and they didn't do that. So like I said, I told everybody about this thing. I've been telling them ever since because I was like, man, this is unbelievable. So we get these maps together. We start getting all the ownership information together. We get all the phone numbers, and BNSF starts acquiring all these properties, right?
Yeah.
And then she passes away, like I said, I think it was like in 2017-ish. Can't remember the exact year, but I want to say somewhere around there. She passes away, and this thing just keeps going, right? They keep acquiring dirt. I'm going, oh, my God, this is crazy. They put out in, like, 2019, I want to say something to the effect, they put some study together. It was, like, almost $1 billion study to do this rail line. So here's what's happening, in a nutshell. They finally announced this thing last year. They go out to Barstow, and they say, here's what we're doing. It's a $1.5 billion project in Barstow. Wow. What they're going to do is they're going to offload the cargo ships. And remember, in Long Beach, what they do right now is they offload them and they put some of it on train and most of it on truck. Right. And start trucking it across Southern California into the other states. Right. What they're going to do now is they put together 2 to 3 mile long trains. They offload the cargo ships to the trains. They're going to bring it up here to Barstow. And from Barstow, they'll disperse. They have the 40 freeway, the 15 freeway, the 395, and the 58 freeways to get all the stuff out of Southern California. So bottom line, people go, well, what about the Cajon Pass? Listen, they're trying to alleviate that. They're going to not have to go down the hill. They're going to come to Barstow and get out of the state. Beautiful. So that's what's happening. And they predict 20,000 jobs. The last article I just saw, they said they're going to break ground in 2025 and completion by 2027.
We need real jobs because I'm tired of seeing gas
happens,
stations and car washes.
Not if this thing happens.
When?
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen,
listen, BNSF, supposedly their annual maintenance is $1.2 billion. That's what their annual maintenance is across the nation. Wow. So if their annual maintenance is $1.2 billion, and they're going to put a $1.5 billion project, that's nothing, right? That's
It's nothing.
drop
No,
in a
no.
hat. These guys move America.
do.
These guys are it. Now, there's obviously, we have the high-speed train over here, but bottom line, they say 20,000 jobs. If 20,000 jobs come to town over
How many
the next
houses,
3,
bro?
4, 5 years,
We don't have enough houses.
Probably 60, 70,000 people, and you're talking thousands of homes, right? Have to happen. And right now, we have 1,000 homes available.
So, how the hell can we even? I mean, we're going to get to 500.
I'm telling you, here's
we're
what
going to
I
get
try
to 500
Here's what
houses.
I try to tell people is that, listen, they predict this population almost double in the next 10 years. We go from almost 500,000 people, let's just say 400,000 people, to 800,000 people.
Million
maybe in the
people,
next
man.
decade. Would be unbelievable. This is like Rancho Cucamonga 20, 30 years ago. 30 years ago.
That's the way I see it.
Everybody was like, man, why would you drive through that place? There's nothing out there, right? Boom. 30 years later, that place is unreal, right? Houses from one end to end.
Unreal. Yeah.
So now we have that. We have all this industrial projects going. We have the Amazon 1.3 million square footer they already put up. We have all this stuff happening in North Apple Valley, all these major players. We got these 3 industrial complexes up here off of the 15 freeway.
What's up with those?
So one of them is half occupied by Modway, a home furniture manufacturer, distributor. The other half, supposedly, they already have that thing leased out, and supposedly these other 2 million plus square footers, they already got tenants for them, supposedly they're saying. So I don't know, they haven't announced anything yet, but I mean, we have all these different warehouses that are basically getting ready to go vertical with 500, 600, 700 jobs per. I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands of jobs coming.
And because of that, like, you got to be positioned well to, like, if you're in real estate, create that earned income, you know, everything that you keep saying about what we should be doing, and to hone this all back in. All this stuff is great, but do you want to be in front of capitalizing on what's coming? Yeah. You got to own some real estate, because guess what?
We'll go into that conversation. Is this speed train rumor also true? From Stoddard Wells to Las Vegas for strictly transportation?
So here's the thing: is that I'm actually on the Town of Apple Valley Planning Commission,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
I'm not giving up any
Nope, he can't.
information because it's we don't really know anything. But here's what I do know: talking to the planners, and I asked them a while back, and I said, "Listen, do you think this project's going to happen? This high-speed train?" And he says, "Listen, we see so many projects come back and forth.
Yeah,
you have an idea, you have a pretty good gut feeling if a project's going to happen." And he said, "We believe this project's going to happen." So. And you think about it. I mean, look at the travel time it takes. And what these guys, when they came out and talked about that whole project, they said, and everybody was asking, how much is the ticket going to be to get to Vegas on this high-speed train? And I think it was like $70 or something, $50 or $70.
That's nuts.
People are going, man, that's freaking, who's going to pay that? Da, da, da. And I said,
Dude,
and they
you're
said,
crazy.
Listen, they said, here's the thing. When you're stuck in traffic and you see the first train go by, you're going to be like, dang. But by the third or fourth train, when it passes you and you're still sitting in traffic, and if your wife doesn't beat you, you're never going to drive again.
And didn't they predict the time to be around
Hour and a half.
Dude, that's hour and a half to get to
Hour and a half. And remember, it's the whole experience is, it's almost like an airplane. You're going to check your luggage in on the train, and you won't see it till you get into your hotel room. They're going to transport it off the train into the hotel. The cocktails. I mean, you're gonna literally Uber from your house here in Apple Valley or the High Desert to the train. You're probably gonna have a cocktail on the way to the train.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a couple cocktails in the train. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're gonna leave your house and you're not gonna be sober till you probably get back.
Because you're going to Vegas.
This is gonna be unbelievable. We could go up there for lunch. Think about it. We could leave here at 5 p.m.
That'd be great.
We could go have dinner, a show,
And come back
and
by
you'd be back
midnight.
by midnight if you wanted to.
Dude,
right?
That's dope.
You could go up there for a lappy and a sandwich if you wanted to.
This is lappy in a sandwich.
This is crazy, right?
No, with all this growth happening in the high desert, I know this is something that Omar wants to talk about. Me personally, I think about this. I'm like, okay, how can I position myself in the next 10 to 15 years to be able to provide housing for those people that are going to move up here? And what I mean by that is own my own doors, own my own investments to be able to, have families live in. Let's talk about that. Like, just capitalizing on making those purchases in the next 10 to 15 years as far as parking yourself in the right position to buy more property.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm hearing this, and you're telling me 20,000 jobs. Then you're telling me 600-700 jobs per, tilt up.
Mm-hmm.
they're off the freeway. I'm like, okay.
Thousands.
I see that's thousands of houses.
Dude.
And there isn't enough homes being built to supply the demand at all. And this is where we're talking about the interest rate. If it even stays where it's at, or if it drops a half a point, guess what that's going to do? It's going to increase the shit out of the real estate market.
Yeah.
We are going to probably see 600 houses, 700 houses here pretty quick.
Oh,
and
for
what
sure.
what happens there?
Price is going to go through the roof.
Through the roof.
Here's what's crazy.
They're not going to double.
Right.
But you know, if we hit a 10% or a 15% increase on a $300,000 house, I mean, that's $330,000. That's $355,000 now.
No, yeah. That makes
versus
a big difference.
$300K. That's a lot of profit.
That's your whole cost of selling, essentially.
And now, like, because I keep telling everybody that's in the real estate business, if you're not owning real estate and you're representing buyers and sellers, it's like, get out of the business or figure something out, because you need to own some real assets. Why? Because it's going to do two things for you. It's going to be able to hedge against any bullshit inflation. It's going to hedge against your tax consequence that we're going to get into here, Mike. And when you can offset it with the houses that you buy, in addition to putting people in there, you're going to have cash flow. You're going to have appreciation. You're going to have depreciation. Then you're going to be able to pull out some money and buy some more houses to supply the demand. So it's just like a perfect storm in general from what you're saying. And it makes me weird. It makes me wonder, like, okay, what's the next 7 years going to look like? You know, I'm 43 now. I'm going to be 44 in March. And it's like, all right, by the time I'm 50,
Big 50.
you know, which is, you know, you got to look at it that way. 6 years from now,
Coming fast.
you know, it's coming real fast. And then, shit, we were at my 40th in Vegas having a good time, so we're going to be in Vegas again for my 50th. It might look a little different with some kids.
things never change.
All the kids will be playing in the play pool.
But it's all good. But I'll have, 100+ doors that I know that I'm going to be in that market. So everybody should be understanding that, hey, increase that earned income to buy some real estate. Let's talk about that, Mike. I know you've had a lot of freaking opportunities to purchase properties, which you have.
Yeah.
And, some people like it, some people don't. Explain to us, like, I'm not going to say the mentality of it, but just, because everybody's scared. People are scared to have real estate or rentals because it does suck sometimes, man.
Yeah.
No bullshit.
Do you ever look at it as like the hospitality industry by any means?
As far as what?
As far as just being a landlord. Like, do you ever feel like that's...
No, I mean, so I got a lot of clients. I mean, we just liquidated this. One of my other clients, he had a portfolio up here, just a local portfolio of like 37 properties up here, and we just liquidated all those for him over the last 18 months. He got rid of all those homes.
In one lump sum or just individually?
No, just one at a time. Yeah, one at a time.
Wow.
Three here, 5 there. But he got rid of all of them, and he's got, he's a very high net worth individual, but he's got. He just wanted to get out of them. He bought them low.
You said 30 to 40 doors?
It was like 37 doors, I think.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
That he got rid of, and they were all single-family homes up here.
That's man.
He said, "Listen, I buy low and I sell high. That's just my plan." He's like, "I don't want to hold them forever."
37 single-family doors.
But he's got, I think he was up to 70, 80 multifamily doors. He's got restaurants. He's got a lot of stuff.
Big stuff.
A lot of
Okay.
stuff happening. Yeah. So, anyways, and another thing was what I always remember too is my dad always said, because his parents were builders up here back in the 70s, right? And he said, "Listen, my parents, his parents, my grandparents, should have owned every major intersection, at least one corner." Up here, but they never did. They never got into that game. They were just building, model home here and there, and they were building spec homes here and there or whatever. But they never owned real estate like they should have back then. They would have had every key piece up
Of the high desert, yeah.
So
man.
bottom line, back to the other story, is you have to own real estate.
Yeah.
You got to buy some stuff. If it's not worth anything now, if you're young, it's going to be worth something eventually, especially at the rate this market's going to be growing. But back to the investment side on my part or whatnot, I've had rentals, if there's money to be made, I just get rid of them. And new construction homes, when we build new construction homes, I should probably keep a rental at least once a year. I just don't.
How many times was I telling you?
All the time.
Especially when the rate was like 3%, 3.5%.
And we talked about that too. We said, look, we're going to look back at this rate and
you're
think we should have financed everything we could.
100%.
As many times as we could have.
And what are we talking about now? Like, damn it. I wish I would have financed more.
Yeah,
and then I would say, dude, keep one of the new houses. Just keep one of the new houses. Just pull out the money.
Yeah.
Pull out the money. I would tell you that every time I would talk to you.
Yeah.
Just to have it.
Yeah.
Because then you have the asset. You have the tangible asset that you could hedge against all the bullshit.
Right.
Everything. And you have it just in case.
And I'm in so many different things. Like I said, I got residential real estate, industrial real estate,
sure.
new construction homes, existing homes, all that stuff. So it's like there's all kinds of different things. But yeah, obviously holding is definitely something. But man, I tell you what, I just don't like tenants.
Something that
Nothing against the tenants.
Nothing
Trust
against
me.
the tenants.
Just
I just don't like tenants.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and that's why I asked is like, do you see it as kind of like the hospitality industry? Because that's why I hear a lot of people that make a decent living but don't want to invest in real estate. They just say, "Oh, I don't want to be in the hospitality industry." Something that attracts me a lot, and this is something that I've been working on for like the past couple of months with my family, is because we own quite a bit of like industrial land. Is just like I want to own like the shopping center we're sitting in right now. Because, businesses are going to pay your rent.
For sure.
For sure.
Most of the time. So, I mean, as far as like commercial real estate, what are your thoughts on owning that long term or getting into that or building, developing, or should you go into a project that's already built, or even if you're brand new, should you try to build something from the ground up as far as only the commercial industrial side?
Yeah, so the commercial, I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. But I mean, for up here locally, the industrial market there is none. There's none available. So, I mean, the demand for industrial up here is huge. The pandemic kind of messed everything up on the commercial side because so much stuff went to e-commerce. Everything went online.
Everything went on.
Whereas, but now you look around and there's not very many vacancies of commercial. There's stuff's jumped in there or whatnot. So, I mean, that's the whole thing is like, can we have another pandemic again? Hopefully not. But the last thing I want to
really think it's our
commercial
choice.
Real estate. You know what I mean?
That
I don't
is
know if I
true.
want commercial real estate, but I think
Box
industrial-
retail at that point, it's like, once it's
The industrial play, I think, is a big deal. I think that's that's a more guaranteed. But again, it takes a lot of money. So I mean, how do you
Tons of money.
How do you get into that ball game? It's gonna take a lot of money.
Cost of entry is so much easier and cheaper for houses.
Residential, yeah.
And the demand's always going to be there. Someone always needs a place to live.
Yeah.
Always.
So like for Omar, right, the portfolio he's got, the doors he's got, for him to be able to move into a commercial or industrial building, that's what makes sense. But you got to get there. So how are you going to get there? Obviously through the residential game,
Selling.
and then push it into probably a commercial industrial.
1031 exchange that stuff. And then something else you don't like tenants. What's funny, after this, we have an eviction.
Yeah.
We have an eviction at 11:15.
Yeah.
That we got to go make sure that when the cops get there, that these people that did not pay for like 7 or 8 months are out of the house.
Right.
And if they're not, they're going to get kicked out.
While you guys are dealing with that, I'm probably going to be getting a massage.
See, that's the thing. But again,
when you work in title, you're able to get a massage at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday.
At lunchtime massage for sure. But
That's
no, man,
crazy.
it's an interesting game, but I love the game.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
100%.
You gotta really like it. You gotta enjoy it. I did all that. We did all the foreclosures. I mean,
remember,
evicting
man.
people. We were kicking
Yeah.
people out like crazy. I mean, you gotta like that stuff. It's not for everybody. And
No.
I tell you what, everybody tries to get into this game, and everybody. That's what's crazy about an up market. Everybody's an investor. Everybody's a builder. Everybody's a freaking coach. Everybody is everything. It's the most craziest thing you ever seen. People that have been in the business 1 year are now geniuses. It's like, you haven't done anything.
No.
You haven't made any
And-
money. You haven't proven anything.
Go ahead.
Get real. That's what I was
That-
like. This is
dude,
crazy.
this is crazy because good point, Mike. Before we wrap up and everything else, when people get into this game and they have some great success quickly,
Yeah.
it does get to their heads. You know this without throwing anybody under the bus, but you see a lot of agents that all of a sudden are pros and experts, and it's like you haven't gone through a downturn.
Right.
You got licensed 3 years ago. Congratulations. You made the best decision of your life. That you've never been in a market. We've never seen a market like we saw the last, couple
And a lot of them
years.
came in this greatest market ever. They made a ton of money. And
I was one of them.
And all of a sudden, they're coaching, they're team leads, they're doing this. It's like you haven't even you're coming to the greatest real estate market we've ever seen. You haven't done anything.
No. And you know what's crazy? Being in the business for 20 years or being licensed for 20 years myself, I still feel like I don't know everything yet. And that's what's crazy. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I might train and coach people how to buy houses, how to take their earned income and do all this other stuff. And I still feel like I got more to learn to be able to to convey the message correctly for other agents to learn how to buy houses and invest and everything else. But I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how the person that with 2 years experience, how they feel if they're trying to coach somebody.
Right. Right.
I mean, there's
Like-
a reason. How many people didn't renew this year?
250. I think.
250.
So far, yeah.
And they probably made some money, but they bought that nice car with the
And
commissions they made.
They went through, the last 6-7 months of those high interest rates.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. They went 6-7 months with no income or very little income.
Yeah. Man, this
I
is crazy.
Yeah, I want to
Um,
I want to ask like 2 questions just for like my own perspective. What is something today that, without, I guess you could say, any expectations from external society, family, or business partners around you, friends, is something that just excites you today?
Well, what motivates me is money.
No, of course,
I'm
but
motivated
there
by
has
money.
to be an activity, an act of service. There has to be something that, I guess you could say, serves humanity on that sort of level.
Yes,
that
I'm a pretty-
excites you.
I'm a pretty giving person, and I don't ever post any of that stuff. But I give a lot. I give money. I give things, whatever I can. If
So you
there's
love to
somebody
pay it forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Paying it
I love to
forward,
pay
for
that
sure.
forward. But I think the other thing that drives me is fear. I am scared to death of having to live on the street. And I'm scared to death because I did that. When I started working with my dad when I was 11 years old. I got my first paycheck from my grandmother when I think 11 or 12. But we were out there framing houses over
So
my
sick.
summers every single year through high school. I was out there with my dad. We were freaking tiling. We were roofing. We were rolling trusses. I know what hard work is. I've done hard work. This is not hard work. I know the real work. And I will do everything I can to not have to go back to that.
Right.
And I have the most respect for all those guys that do that because those guys are real workers. They're real men.
Right.
Right? I'm over here with freaking Botox and my nails painted. I was like, I don't get into this. But what I'm saying is that those guys are real men. Those guys are real workers.
With pink and blue hair. And
Yeah. You
that's
know what
all
I mean?
right.
But what I'm saying is that I don't want to have to go back to that. I've
No, yeah.
done that. I don't want to go back to that. And it scares me to death to have to do that. And it scares me to have to live on the street or any of that stuff. I will do everything I can to not do that.
It goes back to like that one thing, remember why you started.
Yeah.
Another question, and this is my last question, is what is something that you're grateful for today that a lot of people aren't aware of?
What I'm grateful for today, and I think it goes back to the same thing, man. I am super grateful because I saw it back when I became a messenger. And I didn't even know about an office job. I never knew about an office job, right? So all of a sudden I see some of these people that I went to school with, and they're working in an office, man, air conditioned. And I was thinking, man, I'm over here sweating my butt off in summertime, working on top of a roof, pouring concrete, whatever it may be. I am super grateful to be in this country, for one.
100%.
And I'm
That's
super
huge,
grateful
dude.
to be in a place where we can do what we do.
That's huge.
You know what I mean? And we can make a great living. And to be in this desert, people knock it all the time. They knock California. I tell you what, this weather, there is no better weather than Southern California.
No,
this is
none.
some of the best weather in the nation.
Yep.
So we got the weather. We got decent people. Of course,
Opportunity.
everybody has shit people all over the place.
Right.
But we got good people. We're surrounded by good people, and I focus on surrounding myself with good people.
That's it.
I don't want to surround myself with people that are going to drag me down.
That's a
There's
great
negative
answer.
people out there. I don't really deal with that. Hey, we talk, have fun or whatever. But I get to the gym 5 days a week. I go to my ranch. I'm stay grounded for the most part, I believe. And nobody's going to outwork me. I don't care who you are. I don't care what
That's
you do.
tight.
Nobody's going to outwork me. I know what work is, and I know
That's
how to do
awesome.
it,
Sick. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, thank you guys. I
Sick,
appreciate
dude.
it, man.
Hey, guys, that last part he said that he's going to, or that no one else is going to outwork him. That's probably something you guys should write down. And if you think about that you're doing enough, do a little bit more because your competition will do more than you and will take your food from you. So, with that being said, that is our episode. I hope that you guys truly enjoyed it. JP with the questions. Mike, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
I really want to make sure that everybody listens to this because Mike has a lot of valuable information. He let us know exactly what his passion is, all that good stuff. And yes, we're going to definitely talk more about real estate, and I wish we could have, but we did talk
Yeah, I'm
a
sure.
lot.
I'm sure Mike will come back.
For sure.
yeah,
We're
for
another
talking about
episode.
kinds of more
All-
stuff.
all
We got-
kinds of
Please
more
like,
stuff.
comment, and subscribe because that does help this channel grow
Yes.
a lot, and we need that. Because
Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share it as well. We'll have some clips posted and all that good stuff. But nonetheless, guys, this was the Expand podcast with Omar and Mike Arias with co-hosting JP. And we talk about real estate. We talk about everything. So, guys, I appreciate you guys listening. and stay tuned for our next one. But make sure you click the like button, subscribe, and let's go.
Clocking out.
That's it.
Thank you.
See ya.